Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope y'all are doing well today. I wanted to get on here and talk about something that has been on my mind and it just kept springing up in my head. You know, when you set your boundaries, I've been doing a lot of videos about that, setting your boundaries. When you finally decide you're going to step away from a relationship, step away from a group, it could be your family, it could be friends, it could be someone you were in a relationship with, could be a ministry. When you decide that it's time for you to step away from this relationship, that scenario, that circle of friends, this group, when you decide to do that, sometimes people will be trying to tell you what you're doing wrong. You shouldn't do this. Why are you doing that? You're being too harsh. Oh, you need to understand this person. You need to understand what they're going through. Why are you doing that? And there's so much concern for you finally deciding to take a stand and set boundaries and keep your mind at peace, that people will be coming to you, maybe they're friends, maybe people they're sending to you, maybe people who have heard about it, whatever it is. There will be this barrage of why, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, it's wrong, you need to make things right. But the question that one must ask is, where were these people when you were being abused? Where are these people to talk to this individual when you may have been emotionally, physically, spiritually, sexually abused? Where are these people when this person had been cheating? Where are these individuals? Some of them may have even been helping this person to cheat on you, meaning covering for them, saying that he or she is going to hang out with them. Where are these people when this person has been doing this, been misbehaving, and were abusing you and mistreating you and breaking their promises and not doing what was right and not being a provider and not being faithful and not being loyal and breaking the laws and cutting corners? Where were they? Why were they not going to these individuals? Where was the consistent flood of people to go to this individual to correct them and to tell them what they need to do right? It's ironic that when people who have been abused, people who have been mistreated, people who have been just emotionally drained and taken for granted, when they decide to take a stand, people will go to them and it's all about them doing the right thing. But where were they when these individuals were in the midst of being mistreated, lied on, abused, taken for granted? They were treating them so poorly. And some of these people were there and they saw it. Some of these individuals, they were there when the person wanted to attack you or embarrass you. And what were they doing? Were they stopping the person, or were they just standing there? Were they the ones that were coming to you after the fact? Well, you know how he is, you know how she is, you know how they are. Are they standing up for you? And perhaps they may have said something at that moment, but had they been consistent in telling this person and standing their ground and saying, no, you need to stop doing what you're doing, this is wrong? Most likely not. Maybe they saw what was wrong, but they'll talk about that in their own home. They didn't want to break up their friendship. They didn't want to lose their position. They didn't want to get kicked out of the circle in the ministry. They're not going to say anything. They're going to talk to you off to the side. They're going to be like Nicodemus in the Bible. He was with the Pharisees, but he came to Jesus by night to talk. These individuals are not going to stand strong with you. But then when you take a stand, when you finally put up the strength within yourself and, through prayer and just saying it's time to go, and you finally have enough courage to step aside, you're still even uncertain, but you're going to move despite your fear. Here comes these people, what they may call flying monkeys, individuals who were there, who witnessed it all, who are being abused themselves in some cases, telling you need to go back. You can't listen to prisoners telling you to go back to the prison. You can't tell people who are used to chaos, people who thinks that dysfunction is normal, who thinks someone cursing you out and beating you up and acting up in front of your children, or throwing drinks on you, or lying and manipulating and keeping the family at each other's throats, they have been conditioned to that. And so what they want to teach you is survival skills. This is how you survive. But we're in a time in our lives where people don't want to survive. People want to be free. I don't need to be surviving. It's a time in our lives where you can enjoy your life. You have the right to enjoy a peaceful evening. You have the right to no longer be wondering about who's going to stop talking to you over little things. You have a right to not feel apprehensive when you get into these certain people's presence. So they come over, you're trying to do everything in your power to make sure you've dotted every I and crossed every T. You want to make sure that they're okay, that they have water, that they're not too hot, that the fan's not too high, the fan's not too low, that it's just right. But it's so ironic how these individuals will come to you to tell you what to do when they would not stand with you. They did not protect you. They're not even protecting themselves. They're thinking, oh, it's just abuse, it's okay. These individuals that will keep quiet, as I said before, when you're being yelled at and when you're being abused and when people have done you wrong and they stole your business plan, no one stood with you. No one stood with you when you stood up for what was right. They came and told you in secret, well, you did the right thing, but then in public they're trying to save face to save their job. But then when you take a stand, they're trying to talk you out of it. But where were they when you were in the fire? Trying to cool off their own shoulders, standing there next to your abusers, not saying anything to them, or trying to talk to them in this joking manner because they themselves are afraid. So when you decide to stand as David against the Goliath of generational curse and habits and behavior and abusive relationships, they're trying to talk you out of it. Just like David's brother told him, get back, you're being naughty. David went to bring them some refreshments and David wanted to stand up to Goliath. They're telling him, you need to go back to where you belong. You're being naughty, David, his brother was saying to him. But David ignored that and David brought down Goliath. You see, sometimes when you're in this position that you're going to take a stand once and for all, I will no longer continue in this cycle. I will make a different path for my family. I'm going to have peace. I do not have to listen to this negative talk. You're no longer going to tell me what I cannot do. You're no longer going to be telling me, I'm not going to be the target of you telling me I'm ugly and I'm dumb and I'm stupid and I'm worthless. And if it hadn't been for you, I wouldn't be here. I'm no longer going to be listening to disrespectful verbiage from family members. I don't have to tolerate being cursed out and profanities being used towards me and used in front of my family. And I don't have to stand there and listen to you telling me I have to keep quiet so that you don't stop talking to me. I have to keep moving. So these are things, guys, that when God brings you to a place where you say no more, you're going to stand up to Goliath. And the way you do that is I will no longer be afraid. I'm going to go in the freedom that God has placed me in. And if I'm afraid, I'd rather be afraid while I'm moving forward than being stuck here and being a target of your abuse. Oh, here comes the pallbearers to bring you back. Oh, come on back. It wasn't that bad. Come on back. You know, he's not that bad. She's not that bad. You know, now I heard they got the this. They got the whooping cough. They need you. Oh, the bread done fell off the counter and they can't reach the bread. They need to come get that bread for them. Oh, you know they can't make tea like you make. No. The problem with people is when there's someone within the family, the community, the job that was there, that was willing, they abuse you because they don't think you'll ever go, because they feel like they've conditioned you for all these years. I don't need to change. So when you take your stand, don't let these pallbearers try to bury you. Don't let them carry you back. Where were they to stand with you? Where were they to say to this person with the same level of energy, the same level of conviction that they're bringing to you to tell you what you're doing wrong and taking steps to get out of this sort of toxic environment? Why were they not having that same conviction? Why were they not speaking to your abusers that way? Why did they not stand with you? Why were they not willing to file a police report when you needed witnesses for what happened to you? So when you make your decisions and your choices, you be confident in it and you keep moving forward. Don't look back. Don't be afraid. You're on the right track. It may feel lonely. You may feel scared, but you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. You can continue forward. You surprise yourself what you're able to do. If you were able to withstand and still survive that abuse and all those things they did to you, you can do anything. All right, guys. Stay encouraged and keep forging ahead.